So this is Ka for October, and I've been playing around a lot with ALiVE and a crazy little map from ARMA 2 called Clafghan, and it's pretty cool. And I thought I'd maybe do a quick little tutorial on how to set up a really fast insurgency mission on it. Please bear with if the video lags a little bit. My computer doesn't like trying to record full screen video and handle everything else all at once. So first we'll just jump into the editor. Select Clafghan from the map. Click continue. Especially once ALiVE is running, it puts on, when it first sets up, it does tend to put on a pretty good load on the CPU, and your frames will drop initially while the mission starts getting set up. You might get an error here. I'm surprised it didn't show up that time, complaining about a RASC misc wall file missing. Just click through it. You won't get any errors or anything. It's something wrong with the config in it. But Clafghan's a really huge map. It's like 20 by 20. It's basically set up to simulate a lot of Afghanistan, or at least give you the feel of it. And so what I want to do is I want to show you how easy it is to set up a super quick insurgency mission, and that is where Blue 4 is in charge of all the military installations, and Op 4, the insurgents, are in charge of all the civilian installations, towns, villages, and stuff like that. So you click on the little deal over here. That's for the modules. And the first thing I do is set down the ones I use in like almost every single ALiVE mission I do. So you click on the map, go to module categories, ALiVE systems. Now you can just click right through these, but the one you really need first of all is requires ALiVE. You don't have to sync it or group it or nothing. Just click it and add it to the map. Requires ALiVE. And I guess right now at the time of this video, it really doesn't do much, but they want to have it as a placeholder for future improvements to the system where you may absolutely need it. So I'm just in the habit of throwing it down there all the time anyway. Profile system. ALiVE will not do anything without a profile system. It doesn't have to be synced or anything to anything. And I can mess around with these, but basically this is how far the profiles will spawn into actual game units in the game based on your in-game when you're on foot, when you're in a helicopter, or when you're by plane. You can mess around with those. Active limiter is how many profiles that spawn at any one time. 50 is usually what I'm pretty comfortable with, but I've ran it as high as 200 and as low as 30. So it just depends on how fast your machine is and what kind of mission you're setting up. RJ from the ALiVE team's done an excellent set of tutorial missions on how to use this stuff, and I recommend you watching all of his too. Especially you should be watching those before this. So I'm going to fly through a lot of stuff, and I'm really not going to cover a lot of the details. I'll leave that up for other people's videos that have already been done. So you've got requires ALiVE, profile system. View settings is handy depending on the map. That just lets you change your view settings in the game. AI skill is another good one. Here's another one that I really like. Admin actions. And that, even in single player, if you have a laser designator equipped, you can, I'll show you that too. But admin actions is a good one to have. Garbage collector removes dead bodies after a certain amount of time. Dynamic weather is a good one also. And I think that's our core group. Am I missing one? No, does not look like it. Okay, so that's the core group. You could save that right now as a template, just so you don't have to place those all back down again. But we'll drop down to the ALiVE military. The big one here that I like to run is the military sector display, and that'll light up sectors on the map, different colors according to which side of the which faction owns that particular area of the map. So you can see here in Clafghan, if you're not familiar with it, there's actually a bunch of big cities up here along the north, a few smaller villages along here. Blue 4 gets a military base here, and then a scattering of forward operating bases around the southern half of the map. So we've got the profile system, all these good little guys here. You can rewind if you need to watch them again. The one thing we need right now then is the one that both of them will share is CQB. And the CQB module spawns stuff kind of dynamically. You know, as players walk in and out, they don't really contribute much except to add more. You know, you have them show up in a town or a military base instantly. So they're not really under control of the opcoms or anything. But the first one here, strategic, is for military bases. And since it's military bases, I want to use my guys, the Blue 4 side. And the ones I've preferred using is Massi 75th Rangers. And the faction you put in here is Mass_USA_range. And for the OP4, you'll see here it says choose the factions of regular CQB units. That means which ones will spawn in civilian type buildings. And in this case, I'm using the CAF aggressors. And the one for that is CAF_AG and ME for Middle Eastern. So CAF_AG_ME. So that'll spawn these guys in civilian type buildings in towns and villages, and they'll spawn my rangers in any military buildings. And again, you have spawn settings here for CQB similar to the other module I was showing you. Okay, so we put down CQB. I'm not going to sync it to anything, so that'll basically affect all the buildings on the map. And we'll just move it out into the middle. Now we need an OPCOM, which is basically your general. We need one for the blue guys. And again, I'm going to put in Massi's Rangers. And I'm going to change faction to none up here. And that means well, you can change different factions here. But anyway, the override faction is the one we're concerned with. And they're going to occupy stuff. They're not really concerned about invading anything. So put that down, and then the bad guys need one too. And they are interested in invading. They want to kick the Rangers out. So we change that again to CAF AG_ME. So they each have an OPCOM. OPCOMs are kind of like your virtual battlefield generals. But we don't have anybody for them to order around. Like I said, the CQB module is not influenced by the OPCOM's decisions to attack or defend. These guys just spawn in buildings as you approach them. So we need a module. Military civilian placement module. And that's what we want for the bad guys, which again is CAF_AG_ME. We don't want them to have any armor or anything, so we're just going to make them light infantry, and we'll set them up to a battalion size of about 800. Place the units on the map. Ignore small objectives. I don't think so. I don't want them to filter out any objectives. They need to basically have control over any objective, no matter how small it is. So civilian will place the aggressor units in anything that ALiVE recognizes as a civilian placement cluster, anywhere on the map. And it's got about 800 profiles to play with. That we will sync to our OPCOM. Now for Blue 4, we're going to do something similar, except instead of spawning them in civilian, we want them just to use the military basis. So military placement is what we will select. Do not filter, set it up for about a battalion of 800, take it off random, put it on light infantry, and again, we change it to Massi's Rangers, MAS_USA_RANG. And you can screw around with this stuff too and set up, ambient vehicles. If you want air units, I don't think either one of these teams have air units, so it probably won't spawn anything. Doesn't really matter. And again, we'll sync them. So now both virtual battlefield generals have about 800 units to use each, profiles to use. Profiles are not units. A profile can be one unit or it can be a whole group of units. So it's just a profile is a group of at least one unit. Let's put it that way. and they're synced. So the OPCOM can control any military placements on the map, and this OPCOM can control any civilian placements anywhere on the map. And the CQB module will spawn accordingly as you show up ambiently. All right, now, so these two know that each other are present on the map. We sync them. So the OP4, we're going to sync to the military placement of the Rangers. So now they know that the Rangers are spawning in the map, and they'll accordingly try to kick them off the map. Similarly, the Rangers need to know about our insurgents. So we sync that to that. Ta-da! That's about all there is. You could save it right now as a template or whatever you want to do, but this same system could basically be used on any map that's big enough to have an assortment of villages, towns, as well as military bases. So, I forgot one thing. It has to have a player unit. I like Mike Forward Operating Base, Mike 1 they call it. And I'm going to throw in a Ranger. I've already got him selected because I used him before. So he's a 75th Ranger. Wood Recon. Let's change him to multi. Don't want a typical fireman. Make him a team leader and a lieutenant. And then we need to add a laser designator to him when he spawns. That is the correct code. I'm not a scripting wizard. I actually made this segment of the video like 4 times before I figured out what I was doing wrong. This add weapon, in quotes, laser designator, all one word. Don't forget the semicolon at the end. So there you go. At this point, you could place other similar units and make them playable in case you wanted to make this a co-op mission, or you could group a bunch of AI to them or whatever you want to do. But anyway, there's our guy. And let's preview it and see what happens. It's starting to come in now. Good. Okay, so there we go. You can check the inventory. There's the laser designator. Now what that does, by default, I think it's set up to your Windows key. I set it up to a different bind. But you can see here you've got your view settings, which you can goof around with. Raise your frames per second. And your view distance. Maybe you can see stuff in the background doing stuff. I'm going to crank it pretty low since I'm recording video at the same time here. Maybe it won't twitch too bad. Okay. And then the other options, you can enable ghosting, which means nobody will see you. You can still get killed by a stray bullet, but at least enemies won't just start shooting at you immediately. And enable teleporting will let you teleport anywhere on the map just by clicking on it. They're both kind of handy. So we'll flip both of those on. And let's take a look at the map and see what's going on. Here you can see our guy. Ta-da! And these are profiled units all around our area, around FOB Mike 1. And here's our insurgency. All the blue areas are blue for 75th Rangers. All the red areas are insurgents. And you will soon see that the insurgents, see these little red X's, these are waypoints given by the insurgent units, the aggressors. They're going to move to that location because they want to attack this place, which is one of the military bases. Same thing here. You can see some more red X's here because they're going to attack that one also. You can see some blue X's here because meanwhile the 75th Rangers are advancing to try and occupy those towns. Same here. Oh, even way back here in the major cities. And then we'll teleport in and see what's going on. All right, we should be getting into some conflict now. You can see a lot of the Ranger units are moving north, and these guys are going to get their asses handed to them. Looks like we could already see some battle. So we'll teleport in by clicking on the map. Let's go see. Who should we follow? Let's go follow the aggressors for a second. Now, it may lag out a little bit at first because it's got to spawn them instantly. You're not supposed to be teleporting around.
Out of ammo. I'm out. I'm out. I need ammo. I need ammo.
There you go. Now I'm on really super low level skill, regular, I think, or recruit level. So you get the red little globes around the OPFOR. Normally, if I wasn't ghosting, they'd be shooting at me. So they're advancing south towards the village, or towards the military base. And let's see, oh, I can already hear. Oh! Oh, here.
Target down.
It's like somebody's using smoke, maybe? I will probably get shot running around out here. Looks like the Rangers had the high ground in this conflict, this little skirmish. And they seem to be handling themselves quite nicely. So, that's how you set up a super quick little insurgency mission. So, hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave some comments. I'll try to remember to put the right mod line and everything else in the information below the video. Thanks for watching.